Hi, boys and girls. It's Monday. Ready for a full fun week together. Shout out to Gary, who really turned things around this week and has been working extra hard, who has come to see me after school during lunch, and he is putting forth a lot of effort right now, and that means he is going to be successful. So keep up the good work, and anyone else who thinks that they want to keep working hard like he is, please come and join me for tutoring. All right, so we're starting our next unit, Unit 3, and we're going to be working a lot with expressions and equations, and we're kind of getting into some algebra stuff. So the first thing we're looking at is simplifying expressions, and first part of that is something called combining like terms. So combining like terms. Those first two words should be familiar. Combining, we all know what that means. Putting things together. If something is like, they're alike, they're the same type. And then I'm going to show you here in a second what terms are. All right, so let's look at an equation breakdown. This whole thing right here down at the bottom, it says 3x plus 5 equals 20. That whole thing is an equation. And the reason why it's an equation is because it's a math sentence. That's like a complete math sentence with the equal sign. So an equation has the equal sign. If there is no equal sign and it just said 3x plus 5, so just from here to here, 3x plus 5, this is called an expression. And that's kind of like a phrase. And then just from here to here, that 3x, that's called a term. So an expression is made up of multiple terms. Just this 5 right here, that's a term also. Terms are separated by addition or subtraction. So terms are separated by addition or subtraction, adding or subtracting. Okay, a term can be multiplying. Remember right here we have this 3, that's called a coefficient. And then the x is called a variable. So when you have a coefficient and a variable next to each other, they make one term. Okay, and that term is it's being multiplied together. You could also have something, I'm going to just put a little over here, you could have something like x over 3. Okay, that would also be a term. And then this 5 is called a constant because that 5 stays at 5. 5 is 5 no matter what way you look at it. Over here, this 3 and this x, that variable, that x, it can vary. Whatever x represents can change what this term is equal to, what it represents. So we have terms separated by addition and subtraction. Multiple terms added and subtracted together make up an expression. And then once you add in that equal sign here, we get an equation. And then you have another number, another constant on the other side there. So real quick, another thing about terms is you could have a term, or you could have 145 x, y, z, a, b, c, g, r, s, h, l, p, m, and o. This is still only one term because there is no addition and no subtraction. So if I were to take all that now and then say plus 1, now I would have two terms because I'm adding something. If I were to say minus 3x, now I would have 3 terms. So terms are separated by addition and subtraction, but one single term can be a string of multiplying numbers together. All right, so let's look at this one example of combining like terms. So tomorrow in class, I'm going to talk about all the animals at the zoo. And all the animals at the zoo, unfortunately, there was an accident earlier, and they're all in their separate enclosures, right? Well, something went wrong, and someone opened up all the gates, and now all the zoo animals all over the place, all mixed together, and we need to get them all back into their own enclosure. Because do you want to have like cows and bunny rabbits together and then chickens and lambs? Like, no, they're not going to be in that same enclosure. They're all going to be in their own separate. So we have to organize this and think about which groups belong together. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw a line in front of each addition or subtraction. So here, I'm going to draw a line here. I'm going to draw a line here. Remember, it's in front of each addition or subtraction. Then what you want to do is you want to color or shape all of the terms, because what we just did is we separated all of the terms. So here's what I mean by color or shape. You could get a highlighter. That's not really going to work for what I'm doing right here. So since we might not always have highlighters, we can draw different shapes. So I'm going to take anything that has an X. That's a like term, and I'm going to put a pink box around that. There's also this one here. And the important part here is to always take the sign in front. Notice how there was a subtraction sign right here? I took that subtraction sign with it. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to put a circle around all of the Y terms, a green circle around all of the Y terms. Then I'm going to put this blue, teal, whatever it is, triangle around all of the constant terms, so all the terms that do not have a variable. Then what you will do is you will put each group together. So here in our pink box, we had a 10x, and we had a negative x. If you do not see a coefficient in front, so what we have right here is kind of like an invisible 1. There's a 1 right here. Okay? And then we have in our greens, let's make that a circle. Maybe. All right, the circle's not really going to work, so we'll keep it as a box. So we had a positive 4y. And a positive 5y. If we don't reel back to the pink red box here, if there's no sign in front of the 10x, remember that means it's a positive if you don't see a sign. And finally, we have our constants in the blue box, or blue triangles. So we have our negative 6 and our positive 2. Now you combine everything in the same box. So let's simplify this box. What's 10 plus negative 1? 10 plus negative 1 gives us 9x. What's 4 plus 5? 9, so that's 9y. And then what's negative 6 plus positive 2? We get negative 4. This was positive, and then this was positive. Okay, so really our simplified expression is 9x plus 9y minus 4. And that's it. So we'll go over these steps quickly tomorrow. I have some notes for you. We'll kind of talk about the animals to kind of help you see how we have to combine only the things that are alike. If it's not the same variable or same combination of variables, you can't add them together. So we can't add an x and a y together. They don't belong. Okay, what I would like you to do right now is I'd like you to simplify this expression. So combine like terms, put it into as many terms as possible. I can tell you right now, or sorry, as few terms as possible. And your hint is there's going to be 3 terms. So at the end you'll have 3 terms, so one thing here, one thing here, and one thing here. All right, good luck. See you tomorrow.